So I'm going down the road, driving down the road one evening in October, and this is how it all began. The ministry road. This is how it got started. I receive a phone call from an old friend. He says, Charles, I've got something to talk to you about, and it's serious. I said, well, what's the matter, man? He says, I've been listening to you. You know you're on social media and a lot of people like you and they like your jokes and everything. You got a lot of friends. I said, I sure do, man. He says, but you're not treating them right. You're not doing your friends right. I asked him, I said, is this a joke? No, he says, this is no joke, I'm serious. He says, you're not treating your friends right. Well, what do you mean? Please explain. He says, you're a preacher. You are a preacher. God called you to preach. You've been running from God for 35 years, man, or more. You've got the gospel message inside you and you're not telling your friends. And you know what? They would follow you right into heaven if you would just turn around and go that way. I said, well, listen, man, just a little FYI, you know my life. I've done everything that I possibly could at one point in my life to save the world. Man, I've been to Harlem and the Bronx. I talked to every gang leader and every bad person that I could think of and tried to tell them about Jesus. I flew to New York. I spoke to those that were victims of the Holocaust and Joseph Mengele and the devil himself, man, to try and get a grasp on the reality of the evil in this life and the reality of God. And I can't save the world, man. He says, listen, he says, when I hang this phone up, you can expect a call from God. And you tell him what you just told me. And then call me back. Let's see how that conversation goes. And I said, well, since you put it that way, and I got to tell you what, I did get that phone call, and it was from God. He says, Charles, he says, I've got something that I am going to have you to do. Now, let me explain something in case you don't know it yet about God. God doesn't ask you to do something when he calls you. He tells you what you're going to do. I had no intentions of ever serving the Lord again behind the pulpit. I was tired of that. You see, you can come to God one out of three ways. Number one is the easy way, like Peter in the boat. Peter, would you like to be a fisherman? I see you like to fish. Yes, well, you're going to be a fisher of men. And you're going to be a rock-solid pillar in the church. Well, that's the easy way. The next way was the way Mr. C did it. You see, in life, you headed in one direction with your own agenda, with no regard for doing anything for God anymore or at all. And God has a different idea for you, and he knocks you off that horse, changes your lifestyle, changes you completely, and you get back on that horse and you head to Damascus with a different reason in mind. Instead of being against Christians, you're going to be for them. That was the case of Saul. That's how I came to God. He knocked me off my horse. Or you can come the very hard way. You can be like Jonah. You see, Peter and Saul, who became Paul, they didn't know God was going to get their attention. Maybe many of you out there right now, you don't know that God's trying to get your attention. You don't know it, but it's going to happen. And it's going to happen suddenly. Or you may be like Jonah. That's the hard way. When you know God has something for you to do, and you're not doing it. The way to God's ministry road is this way in north, and you're going south. You can come like Jonah, and he can throw you in the belly of a whale. But one way or the other, you're going to come to the Lord. So I said, okay, fine, Lord, we can do that. I'm kind of laughing, yes. He says, you're going to start something. You're going to call it the ministry road. You're going to preach to people online. And I am going to send people to the ministry road that have never even sat in a church pew in 50 years. Some of them are going to come from church pews and even in the choir itself. But others, most of them are going to change this community by way of just the ministry road Facebook Live. Well, it came to pass. We have over 800 members right now in the Ministry Road, proud of that, and we're getting ready to change the community and change people's lives. I said, but here's the thing. I wasn't worried about it because I would have needed a web name. I'm a web developer as well, and I knew we needed to have theministryroad.com, and in 2019, 2020, that's not available, I'm sorry. So I looked it up, and to my dismay, it was available. God held ministryroad.com available for this group all the way until now. Wow. So there was no arguing with God. So hey, listen, I just got to say something to you. I just wanted to tell you that's how the Ministry Road got started. And that's how the Ministry Road is going to continue. Reaching people online for the time being and forever actually, but reaching people online, telling people about Jesus, changing their lives, helping them to have little regrets in this life as possible. I'm going to go to heaven, and you're coming with me. And you're going to take me with you. I'm taking you with me. We're going to heaven together. So anyway, that being said, come to Jesus one out of three ways. Like Peter, like Saul, or like Jonah. But I got a little FYI for you real quickly, okay? Just the fact that you're listening to this video up to this point right here, you cannot deny at this point that God is speaking to you. He's speaking to you. You may not know that he was calling you and wants you to do something for him, or you may know it and you're just not doing it. Well, anyway, too late now. You listen to my words. God's calling you. Thank you for being a part of the Ministry Road, and if not, join the Ministry Road. God bless you. Thank you for listening.